Hi folks, I'm Tom Konveka here. We're going to talk a little weather, and a little weather may be happening later on. It's 87 and 74, your temperature and dew point respectively. That's a muggy day, and you felt it for today. 74 is a typical dew point here in central Louisiana during the warm season, especially in the summer. So I wouldn't call it real tough at this point, but it's getting close. My benchmark is about 75 plus here in this area. And we see a lot of high clouds beginning to overspread the area. Some low-level clouds are there. Likewise, a little hazy up in Jena with 85 degrees there. Of course, it's muggy there, and some high clouds spreading in. These clouds are coming in advance of strong thunderstorms out to the west of us. In fact, it's these particular storms that we're watching coming through central Texas. This little batch heading eastbound, a little bit more development up to the northeast. And what we think is going to happen is, based on the conditions and the factors that we have at the surface and aloft, that we will see more storms form in this general area and kind of track east and southeast during the evening hours. And then that puts us in a risk of some weather here for central Louisiana. Let's go into the satellite radar. You can see several clusters of storms. Here's the early one, and then farther to the southwest, as is typically the case, we see several other clusters developing, and some of the high clouds that you're seeing, that is being blown over in our area overhead by the upper level winds. So these storm clusters, again, slowly but surely kind of headed this way, if you will. But what kind of strength will they be when they get here? Futurecast shows that there'll be stuff still, even as late as 10 o'clock, going mainly along I-20. And up in that area, generally north of central Louisiana. And this is the best model data that I could get this evening. And then going into the rest of the forecast, we see some showers and maybe an occasional thunderstorm here as we head through the nighttime hours and into what I call the wee hours Thursday morning. By 10 o'clock Thursday morning, not too much happening at that particular time. Storm Prediction Center, they're doing their thing, putting the warnings out and the watches out and the outlook. So this is an outlook here across the area. And of course, this means from central Texas up into the Arklatex toward Little Rock. That's where the highest band of potential is. You go north, west, and southeast from there, then it becomes less of a threat. So a little bit detailed look. Here's how it shakes out in central Louisiana. Sometimes I don't want to try to be too cute with the forecast, but the basic thing is that across our southern parishes, that's the least risk of severe weather. Here across Vernon, Rapides, and in toward LaSalle, Catahoula, Concordia parishes, and probably most of Grant, we see that level 1 risk, the marginal risk. We're kind of in between. And the highest threat takes the Manny, Natchitoches, and Winfield corridor there into effect there with a level 2 threat. So that's kind of how it shakes out. And that is reflective of the pattern. Possible storms coming through Texas, in Texas, that you saw just a minute ago on radar. And as they move this way, as we get nighttime, that will tend to stabilize things just a bit. But there will still be adequate instability left over for some storms. So that's our pattern that we're looking at. Threat level 1 out of 5 and 2 out of 5 according to the Storm Prediction Center. I kind of grouped that into one thing, and I just call it limited. And then going into the threat levels, wind is the most prominent threat at a 5 to 15% level, and that 5% will be in the level 1 area, and the 15% will be in the level 2 area. Again, I outlined where that is. Hail, about 5%. Even in the level 2 area, hail is not the predominant threat. The wind is, and we can't rule out a tornado in this circumstance, 2% or less. And those percentages, remember, based on research that indicates within 25 miles, given the factors that we expect, those are the percentages of the occurrence within 25 miles of your home, your school, or your work. Monitor your weather sources this evening. The timing, 6 p.m. Wednesday to 3 a.m. Thursday. That's when kind of the window is open for the potential for a little severe weather out of this deal. Here's how I think the rainfall pattern will shake out through the 3 a.m. hour. Of course, the highest probabilities will be to the northwest, coincident with where the highest chance of severe weather is. You go to the southeast, only 20% to 30% rain chances across much of the rest of the area. And rainfall, if you get it, less than an inch in most rain buckets. But I think 2 inches could be possible in some locations. to get a heavy thunderstorm, then you could get that and get it quickly. 7-day forecast in, back in for Thursday, about 20 cents worth. Some of that could be early morning during the wee hours, part of that 3 a.m. deal. Then there could be a separate chance later in the day, but I don't expect too much Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So most of the Memorial Day weekend shaping up pretty good as far as rainfall is concerned. But it will be hot and muggy. Look at those lows, 72 to 74, 92, 93 for highs. Heat indices will range through the 90s. And I think with those numbers, with the humidity we have, it will top 100 in some locations. Memorial Day itself will be pretty hot, 75 and 94 heat index, probably 100 or higher in some locations there that day. But I did put a PM 30% in for Memorial Day, and part of that is going to be more Memorial Day night, and then some of that will linger into Tuesday. We got a front coming, been advertising that front for a while, so it is still coming, and that will shut things down Wednesday. And notice how it turns cooler and drier and more comfortable starting Wednesday. So it looks like my extended forecast, extended planner was right about that, May closes out on a more comfortable note. Right, that's good news. We'll keep an eye on your weather situation here for this evening. Nick Mikulas and I, and Nick Mikulas will be back with you with a live stream in the morning, and I'll see you again sometime during the late afternoon.